Alexa, I see amazing people gathered today. Can you tell me what's going on?
Hello. Welcome to AWS Summit New Delhi. Please help me welcome to the stage Rahul Sharma, Regional Head of Public Sector, India, and South Asia, Amazon Internet Services Private Limited.
Good morning. We're back here after almost 3 years. Does it feel good? Yeah. We're back in New Delhi with the New Delhi Summit. Yes. Hi, I'm Rahul Sharma. I lead public sector for India and South Asia. And we're so thrilled to host you after so much time. We really missed hosting these events along with you. The kind of energy that we feel working along with you, it's really tremendous to be here back again. So welcome. I'd like to start by congratulating everybody here on India completing 75 years of our independence. When we look back, we have achieved so much as a country. And the common theme that puts us all together here is the success of Digital India. As you think about what we've achieved in Digital India, it's truly something remarkable and to be proud of. As you think about success of national scale platforms, Aadhaar, UPI, CoWIN, Arogya Setu, all of these are national scaling platforms that have shown the way to the world on raising the bar on citizen engagement. Working with customers like Digital India Corporation, Government of Telangana, Delhi University, it's such a pleasure to be engaged and involved in these national platforms. If you think about the next 25 years of our journey, the greater excitement, the energy that we all feel as we think about Atmanirbhar India, as we think about how to take Digital India to the next level, it's not just engaging India for technology for social good, but taking the assets that we create and the platform that we create from India to the world. So it's truly an exciting time to be here. I think we are at an inflection point where the needs of a population are coming together with the capabilities that India had and the scale that India offers. In the last 5 years in our journey as AWS Public Sector in India, we've had the privilege of collaborating with many leaders across the government, across education institutions, non-profits, and healthcare providers. And this is to help furthering the government's vision around technology and digital leadership. So once again, we really appreciate you being here. It's truly going to be a great day of learning, and we really want to thank you for spending the day with us. These summits are actually designed for us to learn from one another. It's actually designed for us to make sure that we don't talk about AWS and try and sell you AWS, but we want to make sure that you hear from our customers. We've got more than 30 customers speaking today. I'm really glad, and thank you to all the customers that are here to speak. We've got more than 25 technology and business sessions, and you can choose from sessions that broadly range from security, machine learning and AI, data and analytics, digital workforce transformation, and many more. I also want to make sure that you can spend some time just going through Chalk Talks if you want to actually dive deep and sink your teeth into something that you feel from a technology perspective is relevant to you. The Chalk Talk sessions are intimate, more interactive sessions that we plan for this summit as well. We hope that you leave the summit having learned something about AWS, something about our partners, and something about the India market. But more importantly, we use this time to collaborate and learn from our customers and learn from each other. This would not be possible, without a paid engagement, without tremendous support from our sponsors. So thank you so much to our global sponsors, Intel, VMware, Datadog, Veeam, New Relic, Palo Alto. This would not be possible without your support. I'd also like to do a shout out to our platinum sponsors, Aerospike and AMD, our gold sponsors, NetApp and Redis, and our silver sponsors, App Squad and Deloitte. Thank you so much to all the sponsors for supporting us in this initiative. We would not be able to do this without you. This list used to be a smaller list in 2018 when I was here. This is now just a fraction of the customers that we have in India. As you think about these customers across public sector in India, these customers are leveraging benefits to make a difference to people's lives. When you think about common service centers and how common service centers are using technology to help skilling and reskilling 60 million people using PMG Disha. You take Byju's as an example. When Byju's needed to share content across multiple devices, or when they really needed to deliver learning content in an interactive way to students, they chose AWS. Here at AWS, we choose to be the trusted technology powering prosperity of the planet and its people. And this need for global impact is the common link that we all share. When you look at governments that need to make an impact, or when you think about even the child that wants to learn in a remote village, to be able to get the same access to the same technology that is available to our biggest customer across the world. That's truly making a global impact from India. So as you think about making a global impact from India, one of the things that we really want to emphasize on is how do you build in India, not just for India, but for the world. The aspirations of our customers, the aspirations of our people, as we help them create technology for social good, India offers the scale that is unparalleled. The use cases that are available here are unparalleled. So we want to be able to make sure that as we think about this, we have three broad thematic areas of engagement. Innovating on national platforms, which is really about customers' priority being our priorities. Enabling builders, ensuring that every builder, whether it be a student, whether it be somebody looking to reskill, or whether it be a startup, they have access to the right technology at the right time. And pulling this all together, finally driving to the outcome, which is really bridging the digital divide. So let me spend just a few minutes on each of these to give you a little more context. So let's think about innovating national platforms, and taking India to the world. Solving for national scale opportunities requires long-term thinking across data, across applications, research, innovations, and ultimately leading to citizen outcomes. You need to be able to drive transformation at scale. And India has already shown the path on how to create digital public goods through the Digital India Initiative. And that's truly a remarkable initiative. It's also about enabling public sector organizations in their efforts to foster a culture of innovation so that they can deliver innovation at speed. I'm really, really proud to talk about one of the digital crowns of India, CoWIN. CoWIN, I don't think anybody here doesn't know CoWIN. Everybody here knows CoWIN. It's a COVID-19 vaccine intelligence network. It was developed in record time, in a matter of a few weeks. And the kind of scalability that it achieved. On January 16, 2021, when it was launched, when the PM unveiled CoWIN along with the national COVID-19 vaccination campaign, we started with 1.9 million people accessing the system on that day. 17 September 2021, we remember this was the Prime Minister's birthday, where the platform and India delivered nearly 25 million vaccinations in 8 hours. It's a tremendous, tremendous scale, the likes of which we haven't seen before. And I think that's the power of what we can bring, not just for India, but to the world. CoWIN is now, it's not just the world's largest vaccination drive, but it's also something that is delivering at scale by more than 2.12 billion vaccinations, more than 1 billion people registered on it. But not just available for India, it's now available for the world. And that's what innovating national platforms is all about. As you think about builders, as you think about enabling builders, we have the largest developer user base in the world and the third largest startup network in the world. This network is augmented and supported by large-scale government programs. And I just want to do a shout out to another one of our customers, the National Skills Development Corporation. NSDC is a not-for-profit entity set up by the Ministry of Finance to promote development of skills. There's nearly 400 million people that need to be skilled and reskilled in India. NSDC needed a scalable, agile, cost-effective technology platform that will help bring skilling and reskilling to these 400 million people. NSDC has used our technology to run their Skill India portal, their learning management system, the skill management center, the smart centers, the Takshila portal for training of trainers, and their ERP system. So when they needed a truly scalable and robust, secure, safe platform, they turned to AWS for help. Today, They use AWS to run business critical applications, and they're training over 5 million learners across 10,000 plus training centers across the country. And when you think about really pulling this all together, which is bridging the digital divide, I think that's where it all comes together. How do you drive access and inclusion for everybody? Whether it's about supporting education across boundaries, whether it is supporting population scale vaccination programs, or the agriculture ecosystem. The agriculture ecosystem is really close to my heart. We believe, we know for a fact that more than half of India's population depends on agriculture as a source of primary income. And up to 1/5 of India's GDP is derived from the farming community. So it's a huge, huge base for impact. There are more than 1,500 startups in India that are focused on building cloud-based solutions to help farmers. And this is made possible because they have easy access to our technology. I just want to give a shout out to one of the favorite startups of mine, Cropin. Cropin is an agri-tech company in India. Cropin uses AWS to drive improvements in farming practices with data-driven insights. Using AWS, Cropin has actually brought 7 million farmers into the digital fold, and they've digitized over 16 million acres of farmland globally. Cropin is a leading example of technology bridging the gap and the digital divide. It's truly remarkable what they've been able to achieve from India. And India, our mission is to be able to make a global a positive impact to the life of every citizen of India in any way possible through AWS. This is just a quick sliver of what we do and what we have to offer. It's a very small snapshot. I invite you to seize the opportunity today to learn, to explore, and to be inspired. So once again, welcome, and let's move forward. Hi, Alexa, what's next?
Please welcome to the stage Max Peterson, Vice President, Worldwide Public Sector, AWS.
Awesome. Really good the way you got things going, Rahul. And I tell you, the examples that he talked about are phenomenal. And we're not going to stop there. In fact, over the next 50 minutes, we're going to have several more speakers come up and share their stories. My name is Max Peterson, and I get the great honor to lead our worldwide public sector business, where we're focused on the mission and helping our customers across government, across education, in the not-for-profit space, aerospace and satellite, and national healthcare to be able to deliver on their missions. For me personally, it's great to be back in New Delhi. I was here in February of 2020, and coming back nearly 2.5 years later, it's been really exciting to talk to customers and talk to partners and find out everything that's gone on in the last 2.5 years. And it's been nothing short of amazing. The digital transformation, as you heard from Rahul, is being led by a lot of the work done right here in India. And we get the opportunity today to highlight and celebrate some of those who are leading these efforts, breaking down barriers, really the pioneers of change. Over the next 50 minutes, we're going to have these 3 speakers come up, and they're going to share their stories of how they're leveraging cloud computing to be able to get greater agility, better resilience, better security, all so that they can keep pushing the boundaries on innovation. And our hope is that this sparks ideas, it sparks creativity, and we get everybody in the room here joining in this kind of creative innovation. Of course, it's also been a very difficult time over these last 2.5 years for many people. And so before we do dive in, I want to take a moment just to reflect on those difficulties. Whether it's been the challenge of the pandemic or challenges navigating other tragic circumstances around the world, we're always reminded, whether it's natural disasters or any other situation around the world, that it's important that we all take the time and be mindful that we're safe and well with our families and with our friends. Now, throughout these difficult times, our commitment to our customers across public sector has been that we will be there and ready to respond quickly and help you innovate. And we've got some amazing examples of where that innovation was able to save lives, to be able to deliver critical citizen services when we couldn't operate the way that we were used to with in-person government. and in fact to support learning despite massive disruptions. Ultimately, what we're finding is that these innovations are now becoming permanent, and it's helping to change the way that business and government educates and engages society for good. So before we go any further, I know there's a lot of folks in the audience that played a critical role in delivering education, citizen services, and so much more during the pandemic. And let me just say thank you for your efforts and thank you for your continued innovation in this space. I do think it's funny that one of the things that we forgot sitting behind Zoom screens all the time was that it's okay to clap. So we're going to hear, again, amazing stories, and I want to encourage everybody to clap. You may know that AWS was founded in 2006, and we established our public sector business in 2010, which is where we developed our focus on driving disruptive innovation, helping to support national priorities, and in doing, make the world a better place. In 2011, AWS opened up our office in Mumbai, and there's been a lot of exciting momentum since then as we continue to build and grow and expand the services that we deliver around the world, but importantly, right here in India. We launched the Mumbai region in 2016. It has 3 availability zones that provide you with the highest level of resilience and availability possible right here in India. There's a total of 33 different CloudFront Edge locations. These are additional locations in 6 cities around India that help customers accelerate access to data, provide streaming video, encourage fast performance on applications, and delivers these services to users worldwide with very low latency and very high transfer speeds. This is critical infrastructure in India for digital modernization. We also in 2020 launched something called AWS Outposts, which provides organizations with the ability to run AWS technology in their own data centers and establish connections back to the global cloud, delivering a seamless hybrid environment. We've invested to date more than $3.7 billion US in local infrastructure and jobs across India, and we remain committed to this ongoing investment in the region. And in fact, I'm excited to be able to share that we're launching our AWS Hyderabad region in India this year. So stay tuned. And we believe that's going to be critical to allow businesses and government and nonprofits and all of that community to keep innovating right here in India. In fact, customer-centric innovation is the basis for a lot of what AWS does. Over 90% of AWS services come directly from the feedback that we get from our customers and our partners about what would make their experience easier or faster or less expensive or more innovative. The other 10%, we try and look around corners for our customers so that we can anticipate their needs and be able to invent on their behalf, sort of reading between the lines to figure out what other exciting things we may be able to deliver. The result is that millions of customers around the world use AWS to improve their security while they also become more agile and while they save money. From enterprises to small businesses to startups across almost every imaginable business segment, these customers are using AWS. In the public sector alone, tens of thousands of customers around the world use AWS to help improve national governments, to help improve educational systems, to be able to speed up care delivery for major healthcare providers. They all count on AWS to help them deliver on these mission-critical systems. One of the reasons why so many customers rely upon AWS is that they can take advantage of a global infrastructure. AWS currently has 27 global cloud computing regions around the world with over 87 availability zones. And we're not stopping there. We've announced a further 7 regions across the world, in total adding an additional 21 availability zones. That's a massive amount of capability at your fingertips, whether you're developing systems locally or whether you have an aspiration to go global. Our customers find that AWS offers more services than any other cloud service provider. And this is important because it gives them the availability to experiment, to innovate, to be creative, all quickly and easily at an extremely low cost. And we're not slowing down. Because we listen and we continue to innovate on behalf of customers, we've grown our public sector team globally. We've got an enormous network of partners that Rahul talked about. Over 100,000 partners that help force multiply AWS capabilities for the benefit of our customers all around the world. And it's really important with our partners here in India that they're helping customers to migrate to the cloud. They deploy mission-critical applications. Many of those that Rahul mentioned were developed jointly with customers and partners because they've got things like the ability to do security monitoring. They've got things like the ability to create great automation. They provide super management services. So one thing I would ask everybody here, take a note and be sure to go check out the partner theater sessions in the expo hall so that you can learn a little bit more about how partners can help you deliver on the missions that you've got. So you might ask, what does this all mean for you? What it means is you get the flexibility to choose and the freedom to decide where you want to implement your cloud services. You get the full availability of AWS. You get the full support of AWS. It's efficient, it's cost effective, and the choice is yours. As we look ahead and we all decide together what the next new normal looks like, it's going to be critical for organizations who are able to adapt and meet the new needs of students or citizens or patients or end customers. Customers have told us that the work that they had to do during COVID has accelerated their digital transformations, in many cases, by 3 to 5 years. The ways in which we work now, the ways in which we learn and interact with our communities have frankly changed forever. And with that, so have expectations. So in public services, for instance, governments are now expected to be able to deliver the type of modern, rapid, innovative services that citizens get when they log on to a streaming video show or when they go shopping online. And I'm excited now to be able to have you hear a little bit more about how state governments are using the transformative power of the cloud to support their citizens. And I'm going to get a little help from Alexa. Can you please tell us, Alexa, who we're going to welcome up on stage?
Please welcome to the stage Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, Principal Secretary of Information and Technology, Government of Telangana.
Thank you, Jayesh.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Max. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you to the senior leadership of AWS for inviting me to this summit, for giving us a chance to present what we have been doing in the state of Telangana. Also, thanks very much for announcing the new Hyderabad region. I was not aware of this, but it doesn't surprise me that your second region after Bombay is going to be in Hyderabad. Looking at the way we are pushing the boundaries of technology, it doesn't surprise me at all. So, welcome to Hyderabad. But let me also share with you that I'll be speaking about how we have brought cloud into a very operational way in which government services, government platforms are being driven using AWS. See, it has become very common to speak about cloud. Everyone speaks about cloud, but it is obviously easier said than done. It is like that proverb that you can take the horse to water, but can you actually make it drink? So I'll be trying to explain how we have taken the horse to water by ensuring that cloud services are available, but how have we also encouraged multiple government departments to actually adopt cloud. So how have we actually done this will be explained in this very simple framework. There are 5 elements to this strategy which we have adopted in the state of Telangana. We call it the cloud first strategy. Now, the very first thing which we have done is that we have created a cloud adoption framework. Typically, as all of you would know, I know that many of you are actually representing government ministries, PSUs, etc. When we speak about government, there's a mistaken belief that government is it is one large entity, but the fact is that it is extremely fragmented, it is heterogeneous, it is siloed. Leadership styles range from someone who is very progressive to someone who is very status quoist. So in this kind of a complex environment, how do you actually make cloud become the go-to kind of a choice of multiple government agencies, multiple departments? So as I explained, the first thing which we have done is to bring out a cloud adoption framework. And you can look it up on the internet, on the website of our government, it.telangana.gov.in. It actually is a step-by-step process on how, if a department wants to move into cloud, what is step 1 that you need to do, what is step 2 that you need to do, and so on and so forth. And how do we support that transition as the IT department? So as was introduced, I am the Principal Secretary of Information Technology. How do we make this transition happen? As we all know, within the government also, cloud is there for decades. NIC actually pioneered Meghraj almost 15 to 18 years ago. But obviously the adoption has not been uniform, adoption has been slow. How do you change that scenario? How do you transform that mindset? Another very important thing which we have done is that we have actually brought out a very detailed government order which supports departments who want to do that. See, normally in governments, particularly in a state government, the fact that there is an enabling order also kind of frees you. It does not kind of hold you back, because in the government, many times people who are typically risk averse are not very sure if they have the authority to take a particular decision, if that decision is backed by some kind of a law or an order, etc. So that is the second thing which we have done. The third important thing that we have done is to train people. And I'm very happy to share that we have taken resources from AWS for multiple capacity building sessions. And the training is not just to the heads of the departments. Every department typically has an in-house or an outsourced IT team. So the teams have also been brought to these training programs, capacity building programs. One of the very important component of this capacity building program is how do you make a cost benefit evaluation? You are already having some storage, retrieval, computing systems. But if you transition to a cloud, how do these things change? What are the pluses? What are the challenges, roadblocks, etc., etc. And then using the framework, using the government order and the inputs that we give in this capacity building sessions, we take responsibility for migrating the workload. So obviously there is a layered way of understanding the migration. There are certain databases, there are certain applications which are very core to government, very fundamental to government. And as the last line mentions here, things which are very, very confidential, very essential for the government, that remains in the existing setup. Most of the governments have their own data centers. We also have that. But which are the ones which you can straight away move into cloud? And once you develop some confidence, how do you kind of go to the next level and next level? Another very important thing is that we want to set up a cloud center of excellence, because we know that lots of innovation is happening in this area. Lots of innovation in cloud architecture, lots of innovation in computing, edge computing, adoption. And some of you would know this, that Hyderabad already is a very well-established hub for promoting innovation, entrepreneurship. We have great world-class institutions like the T-Hub, and therefore we want to set up a center of excellence. And Max, the standing request of ours that AWS should anchor this center of excellence, that kind of remains. The other important point to understand is that there is a right time, the most opportune time at which you can prompt or nudge government agencies, government departments to really make that transition. And as this slide explains, typically these are times when you have to take a decision on how much will you invest in procuring new IT infrastructure, or if some contract is running out, do you want to renew that contract? Do you want to upgrade the infrastructure? Because lots of new applications keep coming in. Lots of examples were given, like CoWIN and so on and so forth. These applications are multiplying the way the pace of digitalization is happening in our country, and therefore there is always a need to upgrade existing IT infrastructure. There's also sometimes issues of resilience and performance. As was mentioned, Rahul mentioned that on one single day, on Honorable Prime Minister's birthday, the workload on the CoWIN application was humongous. And typically we see this happening on various occasions in our own apps also, in our own applications as well. So if you are facing resilience or performance challenges, how do you take a call on doing something different or doing something better? And of course, the cost of ownership is something very fundamental. And as I mentioned earlier, during the capacity building sessions that we have with government agencies, this is something which we emphasize upon quite a lot. So in the last 2 years, this cloud framework, the cloud first policy, has been introduced in our state of Telangana 2 years ago. And I'm very proud to share that in a short span of 2 years, some huge applications, databases have been successfully migrated to cloud. And I would be particularly happy to point out about the Arogyasri Healthcare Trust. See, you will be aware that there is a national health insurance scheme called Ayushman Bharat. But what is happening in Telangana and also, of course, in the state of Andhra Pradesh is a precursor to that. It is called Arogyasri. There are close to 30 million users of this particular application. And within a matter of months, we have been able to transition from a legacy system into AWS cloud. eOffice is again a very interesting case study. Incidentally, both these two case studies of Arogyasri and eOffice have been published. So you can look it up to read more about how these have been done. And there are so many others and many more to come. So I personally feel that if there is a very well thought through, practical, implementable strategy on how do you ensure that government as a whole uniformly with support, with handholding moves to cloud, then ours is a very good example to listen to and to emulate. And once again, I'm very grateful to the AWS team for providing the right kind of support and guidance in our journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Those were great examples. I tell you, one of the things that's really exciting is to see the breadth of examples, literally digital transformation taking place almost everywhere, it seems like, in Telangana. And thanks for the leadership and the cloud policy. More organizations than ever are migrating to the cloud to be able to innovate, like we just heard, on behalf of their citizens and to ensure high reliability. One example, DigiLocker provides a personal wallet for citizens to be able to store their authentic documents, and it's also part of Digital India that Rahul mentioned earlier. It's migrated more than 60 million files amounting to over 38 terabytes of data, and they did it in just 2 weeks by moving it to AWS. By leveraging the cloud, DigiLocker now allows support for more than 12 million citizens. It's provided increased reliability, and it's saving employee time and reducing the need for manual efforts so that employees can stay focused on what matters most, serving their citizens. It's also incredible to see our government customers sharing best practices globally. Publishing their code as open source, sharing with others so they can learn the best practices. It's in fact one of the ways that we'll all work to make the world a better place. AWS's Open Government Solutions Library now makes it easier than ever for customers to be able to find proven open source solutions that are helping to transform public services more quickly and more efficiently. And in fact, I'm proud to be able to say that we recently added the modular open source identity platform known as MOSIP to our Open Government Solutions Library. MOSIP runs on AWS, and it enables nations to be able to develop and implement digital identity programs. It's all done in a secure, scalable, and cost-effective manner. And the platform has already been adopted by 8 countries, now serving more than 70 million citizens that are registered on its systems. And it's expected that this is going to increase to over a dozen countries around the world, serving as many as 300 million citizens by 2025. I think that kind of scale is pretty impressive. And I think that ability to be able to share globally is really important. The cloud provides the kind of agility and scalability that customers need to be able to support these kind of initiatives. We recently announced that Prasha Bharati effectively was able to scale its services on AWS with more than 240 live radio shows, news shows, and entertainment programs, now serving nearly 900 million people, 894 million people around the world, viewers and listeners in more than 190 countries, all on AWS. And I got the great opportunity to talk to their CEO yesterday. It's really phenomenal what they're doing. They also built this new data management system on the cloud that's helping to improve the collaboration amongst their different organizations so they can provide information faster and more efficiently. Equally important to our customers is the ability to take policies like those that Mr. Ranjan talked about to be able to encourage faster adoption. When you've got those policies in place, it gives you the instruction and the ability to go out and then start doing real-time modernization, real-time digital transformation. The government of India pioneered a cloud adoption policy through the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology Mehraj program, where they're taking steps to be able to simplify procurement that enables more agencies to move faster in their migrations to the cloud. And building on this momentum that we just heard, Telangana's government adopted the Cloud Adoption Framework, which allows organizations across the state to take the direction they need to be able to move applications out of old legacy data centers and be able to put those government departments to work in modern cloud-based environments where they can deploy new applications, they can migrate existing applications, and they can do it quickly, cost-effectively, and security. And the implementation of these policies is allowing more organizations to be able to access the power of the cloud, the security of the cloud, and the resilience of the cloud, which further supports the delivery of these modern citizen services. It also helps speed up things like the development of smart city applications, safety in communities, more efficient transport systems. More organizations in their digital transformation are also starting to use hybrid environments. They're able to do that with AWS because we also help them make sure that the security is necessary to keep those systems up and running and to keep their data protected. By being more resilient and by maintaining continuity, students are able to learn, citizens are able to access these critical government services, and employees around the country, and in fact around the world, are able to work efficiently and remotely. The other area that we heard a little bit about was the improvements to healthcare. Healthcare proved to be vital, and the transformation during the pandemic proved to be really monumental. However, it was also essential that that was done with the right technology to be able to mitigate any kind of incidents or guard against potential threats. AWS customers get more than 230 security, compliance, and governance services when they adopt AWS cloud services. They always retain the control of their data, and they always retain the ownership of their data, and they always make the decisions about where and when they want to make that data available. In addition to ensuring that your data is secure and protected, organizations around the world are also leveraging the cloud to get more insights and to identify new ways that they can serve their missions. In the healthcare area, cloud providers give people the tools they need to be able to enhance the clinician experience, enhance patient and doctor provision, and drive better health outcomes, all in a secure environment. Now, I'd like to turn it over to our second speaker, so that we can hear more on national platforms, how they're digitizing to increase the scale and support and be able to move people forward. Alexa, can you help me welcome our next speaker to the stage?
Please welcome to the stage Shri Abhishek Singh, President and Chief Executive Officer of National E-Governance Division, Digital India Corporation and MyGov.
Mr. Singh, thank you so much.
Thank you, Max, and thank you, Alexa, for welcoming me in this innovative style. And it's indeed an honor and privilege to be talking to this community of developers, techies on the AWS Summit. And it was a joy to listen to my senior Jayesh Ranjan sir. And then Mr. Sanjeev will also speak about how using cloud, how using AWS, different government departments, different public sector units are transforming governance. We at Digital India Corporation have had several projects which are running on cloud, quite a few of them running on the AWS environment, and we have greatly benefited with the kind of services we have got, especially during the pandemic. So I convey my gratitude, my thanks to the entire AWS team for coming to our support, for helping us, for ensuring that services, critical services, as this was mentioned, the CoWIN or the Arogya Setu or the other public digital platforms that we are building are running, serving the people without any glitches, without any failure, and meeting the requirements of which are there in India for building solutions on scale. So I will quickly go through with regard to what our experience has been and what the concerns the government has been and how do we ensure that more and more government departments, more and more states get them onboarded and take up implementation of public digital platforms, ensuring digital transformation with the objective of ensuring better delivery of services to people, ensuring that people are served better in this country, they are actually empowered, and they get what's their rightfully due. So these are some of the transformational Digital India projects. I need to repeat the names in this audience here, but these have been at the core of ensuring digital transformation, ensuring that we are able to build solutions, the Aadhaar, the UPI, the DigiLocker, the CoWIN, the Umang, all these solutions, all these platforms have been empowering citizens, empowering people. So whether it was to get the vaccination appointments or whether it was to eliminate cash transactions, ensuring that we are able to make even small value transactions easily, what UPI enables, DigiLocker. In fact, the numbers, our projects are so huge that sometimes we also get lost with regard to how many users are there. For example, DigiLocker has 125 million users and 6 billion documents on it, which is ensuring seamless exchange, ensuring that we are able to move to a paperless form of governance. So Aadhaar ensures faceless kind of governance, UPI ensures a cashless systems that we are able to build in, and DigiLocker, what it does is the paperless governance. And it allows, and with the API Setu project which is mentioned there, it allows different government systems, different systems to talk to each other, to exchange information, to exchange data, and ensure that the citizens do not spend their valuable time in running from pillar to post or going from portal to portal. Government systems, government databases start talking to each other, exchanging information. The Ayushman Bharat Digital Health Mission, One Network for Digital Commerce, Diksha, Bhashini, which is enabling language translation, enabling access to services in multiple Indian languages, and as we go ahead, enabling voice-enabled access to services. If Alexa can welcome us, then why can't citizens access services through a voice mode on a smartphone or even on a toll-free number? Why should people need to key in or download an app and enter data while they are accessing services? Can I not go to my app or call a toll-free number and say that what is the status of my passport, what is the status of my driving license, where do I get a blood group of a particular thing that I want, or where do I get a vaccination appointment, or how do I find a doctor, or how do I apply for a job or get a scholarship? So all these services will be enabled with the Bhashini project in due course, and that would really empower 500 million people in India who might not have the skill sets to download an app or go to a portal. So these are the projects which are enabling transformation in the true sense. Again, numbers. If you look at these sheer numbers, Aadhaar, 1.3 billion, 78 billion authentications happening in real time. GeM, the government e-marketplace, 5 million sellers there. UPI, we all know every month we are doing 140 billion transactions happen in August. GST and CoWIN. So every project is like an order of magnitude which is much more than anywhere in the world. So whenever we design projects in India, we design it for scale, we design it for serving the 1 billion people, and that brings in the need for having reliable infrastructure, reliable cloud kind of support, so that the focus of the government departments who are implementing these projects is more on designing the applications, doing business process reengineering, doing the coding part, improving the user interface, and not on struggling that much on how do we manage the backend infrastructure. So to that extent, whichever cloud service provider is providing the services, whether it's AWS or anyone else, it comes as a great support to the way we design our projects, the way we implement our projects. So the key features when we build public digital platforms at population scale, of course, the key feature remains is that how do we make it scalable? How do we ensure that we are able to serve each one and everyone without the quality of the service going down? The scalability becomes very important. Interoperability is a very important aspect. Like how do we build scalable interoperable systems so the systems are able to talk to each other? The rural development system should be able to talk to the health systems, and it should be able to talk to the food and public distribution, so that if there is a citizen who is accessing multiple services from multiple government agencies, he should be able to access all these services in a whole of government approach. So that requires architecting the systems, that requires designing the systems in such a way that we are able to offer the best quality of service. Security and quality remain a very important aspect. So how do we address such issues whenever we are designing such a project? So whether it was CoWIN or whether it was Arogya Setu, the security by design, privacy by design, these have been the core principles when we build such projects. Today, with the amount of data that we generate with all these projects, data analytics becomes a very, very important aspect. How do we use the data that's created, that's generated? How do we do data analytics? How do we kind of use it? How do we use it for building AI, ML models? So all that requires compute of the highest order, and it requires to build systems that can help deliver the services that we want. Then compliance to procurement norms, saving taxpayers' money, ensuring return on investment, ensuring value becomes a very, very important aspect for all our projects. Now, what are the challenges in cloud adoption? Very often data sovereignty, very often government departments say, how do I build systems so that my data is secure? So this assurance is very much required. So this is done by having the right policies, data localization laws, and ensuring that this kind of comfort is given to customers for data sovereignty issues. Then security, avoiding vendor lock-in becomes an important aspect. Even if I go for a service provider, how do I ensure that I don't get locked in? How am I ensure that I'm able to move if I desire to do that? Skills gap is a major problem. How do I build in capacities within government to ensure that we are able to design, we are able to negotiate, we are able to engage a partner who is able to do what we need to do. And Jayesh sir also mentioned, existing data center investments becomes a big problem. Sometimes we have a system running on legacy on-prem system. How do we move it to a cloud environment? How do we write off the investments which have been done? And then migrating legacy systems sometimes is also a challenge, that some investments have been done. How do we justify that we are able to migrate? Then what we are doing in DIC as for enabling cloud environment, cloud adoption, is that we are providing these services to multiple government departments by empaneling service providers, by providing cloud consulting, by providing cloud solutioning, migration, cloud management. So we have empaneled service providers, we have got the rates. So any other government department want to adopt that, it becomes easier for them to do so. So the last and not the least, I would say, is that as we go ahead and as we build more public digital platforms in the days to come, the biggest and the most important issue that remains is how do we build trust? How do we build trust between the government and the service provider? How do we build trust between the government and the citizens, so that when we are offering a service to citizens, the citizens want to be assured that whatever data the government is collecting remains secure, remains protected, and it's used only for the purpose for which it is collected. When we build a solution, when we select a partner for offering cloud services or infrastructure services, a requirement remains is that what kind of quality assurance I am getting, how responsive is the service provider. In this regard, we have had very good experience, especially with the AWS team, that when we built the CoWIN, examples were given, wherein the teams were very responsive and we got a lot of support in building their systems. Then openness, like if something goes wrong, is my partner, is my cloud service provider is open to me if something goes, some things will go wrong in any kind of systems. But we need to be very open with regard to that, what went wrong, what do we share, how do we correct it, and how do we ensure that the same things don't reoccur. Then the transparency in costing and billing. Cloud billing and cloud something is something that we struggle with our internal finance with regard to justify, because if I built up a public service wherein the adoption goes more and more people use it, if billions of people use it, DigiLocker today has 120 million, tomorrow if I go to 300 million, definitely my costings will go up. So how do I justify that? How do we explain that? That's something that we have been working out, we have been trying to resolve that. Then dependability of product during upgrades. All solutions go through upgrades. How do we ensure that we get the better quality of service as and when the service provider upgrades his services? And within the government, we need to have a mindset change, because very often the technical teams which have been used to managing on-prem systems, they sometimes feel that managing technology when they know something is around is easier. But when we go in for a cloud kind of environment, the transition happens with, instead of managing technology, we are managing services. So that mindset change is something that we are doing capacity building and trainings within the government to do that. So these are some issues which I wanted to highlight, and I'm sure with the continuing engagement, we will be able to work together and build larger systems in order to serve the people of India. Thank you.
That was fantastic. Thank you very much, Mr. Singh. I love your vision of citizen services that are simply easy, seamless, and secure. And the way that you were able to describe how those transactions can flow across that spectrum was really excellent. Thank you very much again. Now, the cloud has made it possible to be able to scale up quickly, as we heard, and to maintain consistent support, even during the pandemic, helping to be able to safeguard its citizens and people's well-being and safety. In fact, AWS worked with the Center for Development of Advanced Computing, or CDAC, on a premier research and development organization to be able to help India's technology capabilities and their applications. CDAC built and launched eSanjeevani. Did I get that right? eSanjeevani OPD. Thank you. I'll take a round of applause there. But what you should really be applauding is eSanjeevani was built and delivered in just 19 days. That's the real story. And it's a great part of the Digital India Initiative. To date, eSanjeevani OPD has delivered over 45 million telehealth consultations. That really sets a record. And in fact, at its peak, it delivered over 170,000 consultations in one day. 170,000 teleconsultations in one day. The bottom line is that this has helped be able to serve citizens across more than 28 states and to be able to ensure that they're able to get the vital medical support that they need from the confines of their own home. The cloud is also helping scientists be able to pioneer new advancements in research and help to accelerate time to science through global collaboration. It contributes to the breakthroughs in areas like climate change or food security or drug discovery. Last year, MIghty established the Quantum Computing Applications Lab in collaboration with AWS, marking the first initiative in this country to be able to provide scientific, academic, and developer communities with access to quantum computing development capabilities on the AWS cloud. This is completely in line with the government's vision to be able to make India a quantum computing superpower. We've already completed our first cohort, and we're excited to announce the expansion of the lab with the additional support of the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India and with AWS partners, Mphasis and Fractal. These organizations are going to be able to provide additional support to the second cohort to take part in mentoring, to take part in innovation, to teach participants the concepts of quantum computing, and ultimately to help strengthen the scientific community here in India and industry experience through collaboration in the lab. To support teachers and to meet the demands of modern students, education customers are now using data and information and analytics and artificial intelligence to be able to drive better outcomes for their students. So to hear more about this aspect of modernization, let's bring up our third speaker who's going to share how the cloud is being used to drive advancements in higher education across the country and to provide a more personalized learning experience for students. One last time, Alexa, can you help me welcome our third speaker to the stage?
Please welcome to the stage Professor Sanjeev Singh, Joint Director, University of Delhi South Campus.
Thank you, Professor. Second time today.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Namaste. So, This is something we need to talk about, a very small experiment what we have performed in the university. 5-6 years back, we started something in the lab and sitting with some of the students, research students, and we were discussing what are the pain areas of the students while they were coming to universities and or availing any services, right? So, though knowing all the nuances, we learned that the students are facing the biggest challenge for availing any kind of services, right? It was 6 years back, 7 years back. We thought, let's list them down and try to do something for our own university. So we jot down certain things. That the first thing was how to onboard the students, how to register them. Because Delhi University is such a university which caters to the largest community from across India. And students from down south, remote places, from different states, they're trying to study in Delhi University. But the biggest challenge is because of the cumbersome processes of filling up the forms and all that, they were not traveling and they were not having enough resources to stay back for about 10 days in Delhi and to complete the admission process. That was one very, very painful experience we heard from the students. Second was that how to create that ecosystem, or how to create a system where the students can come, they apply, and they get notified that what is the status of their admission. So those were the pain areas we were discussing, and we thought, okay, let's do something. And we started off with some kind of a small automation within our own university, and we started that, and the results was pretty amazing because we started off with just automating the admissions, only the registrations. Then slowly, we moved on and we started off by adding some more, capabilities into the system. But again, you might be hearing the DU server crashed about 7 years ago, while there was the first day of the admission and server got crashed. So that was another painful situation, and how to overcome that situation then. So after some time, we thought, no, we need to build an enterprise system which is with the help of the students, with the clear feedback from all the stakeholders. Then the research students in my lab, they sit together and they created the framework, and we started working on that. And that was the beginning of the project called Samarth. So Samarth is a governance, automation system for especially designed to cater to the needs of diverse needs of higher education, education system in India. So which take care of all the finance, accounts, academics, employee life cycle, student life cycle, and so on and so forth. But with the strong foundation of open source as a native, culture within our university, and we built the entire ecosystem completely based on open source and open standard. And it has to be cloud-based because by then we learned that, okay, we can't scale up on-premise within 5 minutes. So that was a true challenge. So we adopted the same policy as Professor Jayesh said, that the cloud first policy issued by the Ministry of Information Technology. So then we started adding on the KPI monitoring, leveraging AI and all that. As Rahul said, during the pandemic time, that was very difficult. And Mr. Abhishek rightly pointed out, the pandemic time was the worst time to deliver the services effectively right on time. And that was the challenge for us, how to deliver to the students the right kind of information and services in time, right? And that includes results notification, degrees, and conducting examinations. So using the same platform, we conducted more than 1 million examinations during the pandemic, and their results were notified through their mails and SMSs and all through the same cloud technology. So the 5 core parameters of any such kind of enterprise application where reliability, security, and scalability is the key 3 component, and we achieved all that through the help of the cloud technology provided by AWS. So now Samarth is also embracing the NEP, which all of you are aware of, the national education policies, where the collaborations and coordination with other institutions and how we can migrate from one institution to another institution, how we can earn credits from one university and transfer my credit to other university. And here, it was a cumbersome job, and here Mr. Abhishek came to our rescue that they provided through the open API. We could be able to integrate Samarth platform seamlessly, and 3.2 million students got onboarded, and they were able to generate their IDs through Samarth. That is the role of digital transformationists. So we are not working in islands now. We are not working in isolation. We are joining hands together. So as Rahul was pointing out, the digital divide is being bridged by these technologies. I'm saying the time is for digital provide. So we are providing the digital technology for the betterment. So this is the journey so far. We started off in 2019. We started with 5 higher education institutions. In 2022, we have crossed 200 institutions already. So, and the objective is to cover 500 more institutions in this year. So with these, out of 200 institutions, we have 47 central universities and higher education, 143 state higher education and universities, and 10 plus other higher education institutions, which includes IIMs, institution of national importance, and other. So automation through Samarth eGovSuite is completely managing the student life cycle right from admission to become the alumni. This is the core thing which we have been missing for years because we don't know where our alumni is and what is the progression, how to empower them. So far we have reached 7.5 million students and 7.6 million already registered for admission. And this year, the CUET, the first time in India, the common entrance examination for university admission happened through Samarth. So this is the scale what I'm talking about, that 3 million academic bank of credit with the help of DigiLocker. We have already achieved 1 million students. Open book examination we have conducted. We have distributed more than 360,000 digitally signed degree with blockchain enabled to all the students wherever they were with the verification mechanism. And so far, for 90 universities, we have achieved 1.25 million registration for the CUET, for undergraduate admission, which is just completed, and now the admission process will start very soon. So out of which, 23 private universities have already onboarded on this summer, which is very encouraging. So some impact is the ideal platform, open standard, open source for all the universities for effective management of their governance, seamless integration of services and delivery at the right time to the students, and efficient planning of management of higher education policy framework, and provisioning of digital interface to all the institutions uniformly. So now we have more than 200 institutions, right, on Samarth. All the institutions having the similar experience, right? And we are evolving further with the help of various, taking the feedback from various institutions and other stakeholders. Then is also the Ministry of Education. We are providing the real-time insights, what is happening, what kind of numbers they are generating, and how many graduates we are producing in different domains, what kind of faculties do we have, what is the expert areas, what is the domain expertise, and all that. So with this, I'll just close. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Singh. That was great. I think one of the things that all 3 of our speakers here today shared was that in addition to having world-class cloud infrastructure to support them, it was essential that they had a vision and they really understood how they were going to drive meaningful change. So we're going to finish up here by talking about some of the keys that AWS has embraced for a long time that support that broad-based modernization. The first is skills. As we move forward, cloud talent is going to be critical for this kind of innovation. That's why in 2020, we committed to skilling over 29 million people around the world with free cloud computing skills by 2025. And I'm pleased to be able to tell you that right now we've achieved more than 6 million of those skills training sessions. And we're going to keep on going. We're passionate about being able to use the power of the cloud to democratize knowledge and to ensure that all individuals, regardless of their background, regardless of their education, regardless of social status, have the opportunity to build modern cloud skills. In fact, since 2017, we've trained more than 2 million people in India using all of these various offerings. AWS Restart is a program that we deploy globally, but it takes a local approach to be able to drive impact. It's highly focused on trying to help those who are unemployed or underemployed to launch careers in technology. In fact, it connects more than 90% of the graduates with job interviews. It's available in more than 40 different countries, and AWS Restart is currently running in India in more than 12 cities. And we're pleased to be able to collaborate with organizations to help us do that, like Accenture or Tech Mahindra Foundation, Generation India, or AI Sect, just to name a few. Our skilling is also continuing with things like SMB Vidalia. SMB Vidalia is a technology upskilling program that helps small and medium-sized businesses to be able to follow along and achieve the things that Digital India is driving. Helps them deliver better operations, helps them focus on how to deliver capability faster. This program has over 50 different learning modules that are specific to small and medium enterprises. And these opportunities to help build a broad-based digital business in India helps small and medium enterprises to be able to build that business. They get a combination of both in-person and online skills training. We've also just signed a strategic collaboration agreement with the All India Council for Technical Education. It's a statutory body that's under the Ministry of Education that helps to train higher education students on cloud computing. And I think this is a really fun way to be able to train on cloud skills, is something called AWS Deep Racer Student League. We partner with Intel, and part of this program provides a very fun way to be able to learn and experiment with machine learning by building autonomous racing driving applications. More than 2,000 students registered to be able to participate in this program and the competition, and the top 100 students made it to the semifinals, and 3 winners were announced last week at the finale. And these winners go on directly to compete at a global level in October. And so I really want to congratulate the students who took the time to do this and those, in fact, who advanced to the global level. From the very beginning, we've, of course, been also focused on building a sustainable future. And we've been leading with a wide range of efforts across AWS and Amazon to support this. In 2019, we announced the Amazon Climate Pledge. It's a commitment to be net carbon zero across our business by 2040, 10 years ahead of the Paris Agreement. More than 300 businesses to date, across more than 51 industries and in 29 different countries have signed up to join us in this pledge. We announced 37 new renewable energy projects around the world earlier this year, including new projects in Tamil Nadu, and this marks a total of 20 different rooftop solar projects that Amazon has invested in right here in India. These are generating today a total of more than 17 megawatt hours of clean energy capacity. We're also proud to be able to help our customers achieve their carbon sustainability objectives. A recent study by international analyst firm 451 Research found that AWS's infrastructure is 5 times more energy efficient than the average surveyed data center. That's right here in the Asia-Pacific region. To be able to make it easier for our customers to calculate their company's carbon footprints and then to be able to take the action to reduce your carbon footprints, we launched the AWS Carbon Footprint Calculator. It was just launched earlier this year, and it gives you a simple, intuitive dashboard that allows you to estimate the emissions the customers have avoided by using the AWS cloud and migrating away from on-premise data centers. It even helps forecast how you can achieve greater sustainability as you migrate applications over time based upon your specific use. It's also encouraging to see the advancement customers are driving collectively as we work to solve problems worldwide. Nonprofit organizations, Water.org and WaterAid collaborated with AWS to help develop programs that provide clean water and access to sanitation for more than 250,000 individuals across India. And this collaboration was able to help communities to finance water pipe connections and toilet installations, and in fact has provided more than 500 million liters of clean water annually to people who had previously lacked consistent access. And it's this kind of support that we need to be able to progress toward a safer, a more equitable, and a more water positive world. It's just one remarkable example of how our customers are working to be able to protect people and protect the planet. And so now in closing, I'm really just continue to be amazed about the ways in which our customers are blazing new trails and finding new ways to innovate on behalf of students or citizens. The missions that our public sector customers undertake are incredibly inspiring, and we heard several of them today. What I really look forward to is what you all are going to do with this. The opportunities and what we can accomplish together are going to be nothing short of amazing. And as I said before, it's been great to be back in New Delhi and back in India. It's been great to talk to so many of you, talk about these exciting announcements, and to hear from customers who are actually pioneering the way to the future. And with that, Rahul, would you please join me up on stage? I want to be able to extend a token of our appreciation to several of our speakers.
I'd like to start with inviting Jayesh Ranjan ji. Would you please join us on stage?
It's okay to clap. Thank you very much. Oh, I got it upside down.
Jayesh sir. Abhishek ji, can you please join us on stage, please?
Thank you.
Abhishek sir. And Professor Singh.
Professor, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And now can we get together for a quick picture? There we go.
Move in the center.
So much to do. Yeah, come on.